Hello and welcome back to the Nostalgic Futurist podcast. Today, I want to discuss the future of Disney. What's going to happen to the parks and to the film studios and to really all the things that we hold near and dear to our hearts to help us get through some of the best and worst times of our lives. As the summer is coming to a close, it's becoming more and more apparent that Disneyland isn't opening this summer, nor does it seem like it might open anytime soon. The only indication we really have of what may or may not be happening is them canceling hotel reservations and making it impossible to schedule anything on their calendars, as well as canceling things like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Now, they're also canceling those things in Disney World, and Disney World's open. So, is that really a clue or is it not? As I've been thinking about this and talking about it with friends, I'm starting to think more and more that the Disneyland here is not going to be reopening until probably next year. Do I think that they'll wait until there's a vaccine? Maybe. I also just think that with the way things are here in California, it's very unlikely that something as high risk as a theme park like Disneyland will reopen. But you say, oh, they're doing the Taste of Calico in Knott's Berry Farm, where they're having basically like a food and wine festival in their old West town. And it's outdoor and, you can have a lot of distance between people. And there's also been speculation about, well, will Disney do something like that? And I feel like it's going to be too difficult. The thing about Knott's Berry Farm is that Taste of Calico, like the Calico ghost town, is already outdoors. And they can easily make it so that there's tables spread out and there's a lot of open air. But with Disneyland, if they did, say, just open Main Street and the Hub, well, Main Street has a few restaurants on it, but they're small capacity. And there's not really anywhere for you to put the people to eat. Main Street is pretty wide, but at the same time, if you've been there during fireworks, it fills with people. And with the amount of people who are displaced from all of their time in Disneyland, it's going to be crazy if you open it. Plus, it just doesn't have the ability to do a food and wine festival like DCA does. So, do they open DCA? And again, I think that's going to be too hard because the route where the Food and Wine Festival booths are leads to almost every land in DCA, which makes it almost impossible to keep people on this narrow thoroughfare with nowhere to go to eat. And that's why I feel like that kind of a event with Disneyland won't happen. Now, something that's surprising and weird to me is that Downtown Disney is open when Disneyland is not allowed to be. And I get it, there's no rides, so you got less contact, but I have such an issue with this idea of indoor dining is closed, but indoor shopping is allowed. And I don't know about you, but when I go to a restaurant, I sure touch a lot less same things as the people around me than when I go shopping and I want to feel the fabric of something or pick something up to look at it. I just feel like the amount of surfaces I touch that other people would touch is higher in a store. And with looking at videos and hearing about what's going on in Downtown Disney on its really busy days and nights, it's crazy. And they limit the amount of people in the stores, but you can't limit the people who are in the area. I guess they can a little bit, but I just feel like if you open it, it's not going to be spaced out. And it's not always going to be great. It's going to lead to the possibility of people contaminating one another. But let's talk about what's going to happen when Disneyland does actually reopen. We've seen in Disney World what they've had to do with installing plexiglass and making it so that you can't ride in the stretching room of the Haunted Mansion, and all kinds of reminders everywhere on the ground, on signs to stay 6 feet apart, to wear your mask, and the announcements that come over the speakers that I talked about. And also, they have a whole team of cast members whose entire job is to make sure people are staying 6 feet apart and keeping their masks on and wearing them properly. And how long is that going to continue? Vaccines don't magically work on everyone at the same time because of supply. There just isn't enough. And so it takes a while to make sure that the entire population gets immunized the way they need to. And that runs into an issue of, does Disney open as soon as a vaccine is available? And then if you've gotten it, you can go? And then you create like a form of discrimination there based on who has and has not received a vaccine. I mean, I remember going through the swine flu, like almost 10 years ago, and I don't even remember how or where in the lineup of getting the vaccine for that I was. I just know that I had heard about a vaccine for maybe about a month before I got mine. So, I mean, I know that they're trying to, be speedy with making the vaccine ahead of time before they prove that it works so that they have more. But I worry that next year in Disneyland, when it does reopen and we don't have mass immunity yet, that we're still going to be wearing masks and have the 6-foot distance markers and the queues be all messed up. And, oh, hey, you can't ride the Haunted Mansion because ours is an elevator and you can't just have people not ride the elevator. And so therefore, Haunted Mansion stays closed. And having plexiglass on the Jungle Cruise, or, watching cast members have to hurriedly wipe down every single ride vehicle between rides. I mean, how long and how far does this go? How long do we have to worry about this? And one of the biggest questions I've been thinking about recently is, what happens if this happens again? I mean, mass viruses are not a one-time and we never deal with them again kind of a deal. What's Disney going to do next time to prevent the parks from being closed for as long as they've been this time, and from losing out on all of their revenue from ticket sales for film? How are we going to make sure that in the future film sets can keep filming even if there's another bird flu? It's just crazy to think about. And, hopefully this whole shutdown and this whole pandemic and everything about it will finally be the catalyst that makes everybody, from people who are really worried about the economy to people who are really worried about public health, figure out what to do in the future so that we don't lose as many lives, and so that we don't have as big of an outbreak, and so that not everyone is losing their jobs and losing their livelihood, and honestly, for me personally, losing their reasons to live. It's hard when your entire industry is completely gone. I'm an actor, so basically I don't really exist right now. And one of the only things that has always made me feel better, no matter what horrible thing is going on, is Disneyland. And I can't even see videos of other people in it. And I know that's like really first world, blah, blah, blah. And I'm getting through it and I'm fine. I wasn't even going to go to Disneyland this summer anyway, because my annual pass is blocked out. But there's something like unnerving about not even having videos of Disneyland from other people enjoying it, which is part of why I like to watch them. And I drove down to Anaheim recently and just drove around the park around like 5 or 6 p.m. And all the restaurants and the hotels are closed, so all the parking lots are just empty. And yes, there were people going into downtown Disney, but other than that, it was like a ghost town. It was so creepy. I mean, really the only people around were like security and some cast members going back to their cars. And it's so weird because, that whole area thrives on having tourists, and there's no tourists to be had. I just worry also about the fact that Disney has reported massive losses due to this shutdown, and they have decided to cancel or drastically scale back a lot of their construction projects. So what does that mean for us? Does that mean that things that needed to get fixed, like Indiana Jones was supposed to go down for its, big refurb that it has every once in a while, and I don't know that they've done that. Did they finish Haunted Mansion's refurb? Did they finish Snow White's or the Carousel? I mean, they have to do regular maintenance. But are they going to put aside doing things like larger projects like finally fixing Tomorrowland, or taking care of the ricketiness of the Matterhorn, or fixing up Toontown as they build Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway? Are they just going to neglect those things and just wait till something breaks? And I know Disney is responsible and they'll make sure things aren't harmful to people, but you might be seeing a lot more times where the Indiana Jones snake doesn't turn on and jump at you, or certain effects on rides like the Jungle Cruise, maybe the elephant doesn't pop up to spray you with water because he's broken and they can't afford to fix him right now. And it's such a weird place to be because Disney owns everyone. They own everything. They're like one of the most money-making companies, and yet they have no money because it's so weird, but all of their income relies on entertainment. And right now, entertainment doesn't exist. I mean, yeah, you can turn on the TV and watch reruns, but the entertainment industry basically does not exist right now. And that's just crazy. I hope that Disney maybe is willing to cut some losses to put some money into projects that would better the parks and help attract people, or help attract people away from one ride and towards another to help with congestion in the park, especially now that we're trying to really space people out because of health concerns. And that's something they've always worked on. They try to get the pressure off of Space Mountain with the Matterhorn, or, they try to get pressure off of things by changing the amount of time you'll have to wait in line by making it a higher number so that you're like, oh, I don't want to go wait in that. And then it lets that line dissipate. But if a lot of things are down because they can't be fixed, what does that do to the park? And we've got Splash Mountain, which is supposed to be going under a major refurb, who knows when. But Splash Mountain is a big taker up of people, especially in the summer. And in the winter, not so much. Indiana Jones is supposed to have a refurb. That eats up a lot of people. The Haunted Mansion eats up so many people. And yet, I don't know that they finished the refurb in a way that it would be able to be open in time for the park. And what about Avengers Campus? I mean, I know they're definitely finishing it. There's construction photos. Is it going to be as good as they promised? Are they going to be cutting corners? Where do the corners get cut in all of this? And that goes for the film studios too. They just released that, Mulan is not going to wait to go in theaters. They're just going to release it on Disney+. And that's a lot of revenue lost and a lot of, hype and excitement for Mulan gone. Are they going to have to do that with more things as we continue to wait for a vaccine and continue to wait to get out of this whole situation? It's just a hard time right now to really stay positive about really what's going on in the world and what's going on with Disneyland. And I just wanted to get a chance to really just talk about what the future of Disneyland could look like and get everybody kind of thinking and pondering, like, where is this going to go? Thank you guys for tuning in to the Nostalgic Futurist podcast. I'll see you guys in a few weeks.